So time is definitely in the moment, isn't it, Rory? Things unfold second by second and situations change second by second. Dogs start barking. You're supposed to be on a call. You're getting distracted with all this kind of stuff second by second. So even in what you've just said, you could kind of analyze it a little bit with some kind of guiding point and reference against time. Good. So I woven in a few different things there. Anyone else with their hands up? Come on. Oh, you want dinner on a plate. You want dinner on a plate. You want everything given. JD, Jack Daniels, number 39. 39% Jack Daniels.
That's quite strong. It's a physical construct to mark off a period. Like, I guess it started off with the seasons and things. So that's my contribution.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All correct. All correct. I'm sure some of us of you have got things written down as well. Here's a point, and this one is for taking note of as well. Let's start at the highest point. Are you ready for this? This is what time is. Time is simply the greatest force in this universe. It's the greatest force around us all. It's a force that's so big, it's uncontrollable for anyone or anything. Time will dictate everything that happens in your life, in all the people's around your life. It will exist when you don't exist. It will exist when mankind doesn't exist. Time will tell what will happen. Time unfolds second by second, and it's never ending. It is infinite. When this planet doesn't exist, time still exists. It's the biggest force that's around us. And the force is flowing. Time is flowing. Always. It goes like this. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. It's just the rhythm to it. That's the bit that we've got. That's what time is. It's just simply the biggest force in this universe. Of course, now you're thinking a little bit deeper about it. So it's the biggest force in the universe, yeah? So it's pretty strong power. Would we agree? Would we agree? So now, give us a hands up if you've ever been fighting time. Give us a hands up. I think that was everybody on the call. So you fight time. So you fight a force that's uncontrollable. You're fighting the biggest force in this universe. So has anyone heard of someone called Mike Tyson? He's a boxer that was famous for biting people. But yeah, I mean, this is an analogy here. Would you get in the ring, in a boxing ring with Mike Tyson?
No.
So Ali would definitely not get in the boxing ring with Mike Tyson. So why would you fight something that's infinitely stronger than him then? I'm making this point actually in order to acknowledge what time is. It's around us at all times. It's flowing. Time is flowing. Life flows. Time flows. Now, it is that biggest force around us, and there's a few different mindsets. And when we get into management, I'm going to share a few other different mindsets around how we can start managing things for ourselves. But let's now we've acknowledged time, let's acknowledge something else. It begins with E. This is something that we're all famous for. It's called excuses. Right? So what's our excuses with time? What are the types of excuses that you come up with? So just put your hands up. Put your hands up and just share any kind of excuses that you're coming up with. Go on, Laura.
There's not enough hours in the day.
Not enough hours in the day. Factually incorrect though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of hours in the day. There's 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in a week. Time unfolds second by second. Look at all them seconds, count them. Not enough hours in a day. Can we just spend 2 minutes and remove that one for everyone so that will never come up again? If that's all right. Not true. There's 24 hours in a day. Good tip for people that use that one is, okay, get up earlier. Just get up earlier. Not enough hours in there. What time you get up? 7. Well, get up at 4 then. Plenty of time. There's an abundance of time. It's infinite. It's endless. Time is endless. Okay, so.
Yeah, but you do only have access to so much of it.
All right. But you've only got access to so much of it. Is that one of your excuses, Ali?
No, just a general observation. There's too much going on in my head to put it down on paper to fit it into the 24 hours.
Oh, that's a good excuse. There's too much going on in my head. Okay, that's otherwise known as overwhelm. That's the mother of all. You know, the mother of all bombs, the mother of all the Moab.
Yep.
That's the mother of all excuses, isn't it? It's too much going on. I can't cope with it. Overwhelm. The feeling of too much. And I'm actually putting that, and it's quite offensive at first when I say this kind of stuff. I don't mean any offensively. When you put overwhelm into an excuse bracket, you start to think of it differently. Okay, so we go with Laura's point. There's not enough hours in the day. Well, it's 24 hours in the day, 168 hours in a week, and infinite amount of hours for existence. Now, of course, we're only going to live to between 80 and 100 years old on average for people on the call. So there is an end point to the number of hours that you've got. Just depends on what you're doing with your HPAs, Laura. What are your HPAs, Laura? You're muted at your end.
HPAs?
Yeah. I'm playing with you, Laura. I'm playing with you. I didn't expect you to know what HPAs are. Everyone write this down.
That was embarrassing.
No. You don't need to be embarrassed. No one knows what it was on the call. This is what HPA is. Are you ready? High payoff activity.
Phew.
Okay, so not enough hours in the day. Well, how many hours are you spending on your HPAs? High payoff activities. Because the first thing that one must do is one must make 2 lists. One of all of the HPAs. All of your HPAs, high payoff activities. These are my high payoff activities. You might as well do it now. Just do it now. Make the list. Probably only going to be 4 or 5 things on there. Probably sales meetings should be on there for most people on this call. As an example. It's quite a high payoff activity. Especially if you've got a good conversion rate. And then here's the other list. Are you ready? Other. So we've got 2 lists. We've got HPAs, high payoff activities, and then other. We don't respect everything else in other enough to give it a stronger name. And anyone else want to just go in the hot seat for a second? Anyone on the call? It's only to ask 2 simple questions. It's just to ask 2 simple questions.
James, you never ask 2 simple questions.
I do. All right, Ali, you're in it. So, what's the number 1 priority in your business right now, Ali?
Acquisitions.
Acquisitions. And how many hours a week are you spending on acquisitions?
About 5.
And how did that sound when you said it out loud?
It sounded a bit low.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I was thinking of something you said earlier, and it was not enough time in the day. But actually, I think that's what being a business owner is about. It's actually getting more people to help you achieve what it is that you're trying to get done in the day.
Yeah, really cool, which actually takes us on to the next point. So that little bit of advice and a little bit of coaching and a little bit of a blinding flash of the obvious that you've just had, maybe take note of that one, turn that into an action point. It's a really good point. So just Ali's question to everybody here is, if you could offer yourself any advice right now, what would it be? If you could offer yourself any advice right now, what would it be? Of course, around the context of time, in terms of what we're discussing here. If you could offer yourself any advice right now, what would it be? Put a hand up. Put a hand up if you've got that to share. Nick.
Morning. I've just written down plan before you act.
Plan before you act. Good advice. Good advice. Very good. Who else? Someone else put the hand up, or just unmute yourself and go for it. Share away.
Come on, folks. Let's get some participation here.
We got Jean, we got Chris, we got John Davison. Come on, John. I want to hear you as well. Debbie, Emma, not heard from you yet. Ali, Robin's iPhone as well as is on the call. Clara, John Davison, Jack Daniels, 39%. We've already had. Okay, so come on. What advice have you got?
I'm gonna take Jen. Jen, come on off the call.
Let's go, Jean.
You know, I've always got something to say. I was trying to be quiet. My advice to me would be just get on with it.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it. It's a good affirmation. Actually, do it. You know when you say just get on with it, always put your name at the end. So you say, just get on with it, Jean. So you end up talking to yourself. This is called an affirmation. It's the voice in your head. The voice in your head will enhance your performance more so than anything else on this planet. Nothing on this planet will enhance what you do with your time more so than the voice in your head, Jean. So good advice. Just get on with it, Jean. Always speak to yourself. Put your name in there at the end. Laura.
I've got something to say, but I'm not sure it's advice. I was hoping you would give the advice.
As in Jean or as in Jen?
As in, well, anyone.
Okay.
So the only time I ever get anxiety is if I'm running out of time. So during a day, I almost allocate in my mind a certain amount of time for everything I do. Sound a bit psychotic, and if it's running late or it's just not going to schedule, I get anxious.
Yeah.
But I know I'm making it all up in my head.
Yeah. Look, there's two types of patients in this world. There's the type of patients that requires long-term thinking. So, for example, you go to school when you're age 5 and you don't do your exams until you're age 16, yeah? There's a patience that comes with it. And anything where there's patience, there is no anxiety, remember. Anything where there's patience and calmness, there is no anxiety. There's just calculated, deliberate thinking. All right, so there is the long-term patience. And then there's the type of patience when you're on the way to the airport and you get stuck in a traffic jam. You know, that's a different type of patience than
I'm all right with that.
You're just not all right when you've got 10 minutes to go before a meeting and you're not finished what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing on a micro level, though.
Okay.
It's the short-term patience.
Okay.
So there are techniques that you can use to control that patience. It's nothing to do with time. It's just, it's called control of emotions. Do you want one as advice now? Okay, number 1, breathe. In fact, Laura, do this with me now. So I say, I'll give you instructions. You just do it in your head.
Okay.
So breathe. Just start counting your breaths. So it's 1, 2, 3. Now start observing your feelings. So breathe. Now observe your feelings. How are you feeling? What kind of emotions have you got? Of course, if you were on a deadline here, you kind of stuff that you'd be feeling would be your anxiety. Probably not now. unless you've got a meeting at 9 o'clock and you're not prepared for it. Maybe there's a little bit of that going on. So breathe, observe. Number 3, you ready? Let it go. Throw it away. Especially when you got this anxious feeling, breathe, observe, let it go. Just let it go. Ready? Do it again. Breathe, observe, let it go, do it again. Breathe, observe, let it go, do it again. Breathe, observe, let the emotion go, do it again. Do that cycle for somewhere between 30 seconds and 90 seconds, and your anxiety levels will be dramatically reduced every single time. It's just a methodology of controlling your anxiety and relaxation technique. Anyway, that's nothing to do with time or management. Well, a little bit of self-management in there. So there you go. Was that the advice that you were hoping for? Yes,
I'll be more conscious and do that in future. Thank you.
It's very, very simple, highly effective technique. There's probably not a more effective technique for anxiety in the moment there. Very good. All right. So next question. If you could get encouragement. So if someone could give you words and say something to you to encourage you to manage your time better, what kind of words would you want? What kind of words would you want someone else to say to you? So if you could be having that form of encouragement, what words? Just make a sentence up, the ones that you'd want to hear. Gin's might be, just get on with it, Gin. It might be that, it might be something else. And then give us a hands up when you've got a sentence that you've played around with.
Sorry, James, were you saying what we would say to somebody else, or what we would hope somebody would say to us?
If you could have any words that would encourage you to use time better and stronger and more efficiently and faster and firmer, what words of encouragement would you use? Would you want to hear? Emma, what have you got?
I don't have the answer for that.
You don't have an answer yet?
No.
That's all right. Well, you can steal it from someone else. What have you got, Gin? Nick, you go first.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to ask you from Gin's sort of advice to herself, just do it, and my advice to myself, which was plan before you act. They're completely contradictory. Certainly on the surface, they're completely contradictory statements. So I think they work together, but there's 2 steps to that, isn't there? Once you've done your planning.
Yeah. Gin's advice doesn't need to be the same advice for you, you see. So your own words of encouragement, what you want to hear, what would they be? So we already know Nick's. What are yours, Laura?
I've got, it's okay, you'll get everything done, you always do, just breathe. Yeah.
They're great words about encouragement. What are yours, JD39? What's JD39's name?
Julie.
Julie, what are yours, Julie?
Well, actually, this morning I wrote in my little 6-minute diary, which Jen gave me. I actually wrote about don't panic. And everything will be all right idea. But to pick up on Nick's point here about the planning versus the GFDI, I've written that down as well, independently of you talked about that. And I think the challenge is that you can plan, but then it's actually the doing of the plan that's the GFDI bit. So sitting on the list, knowing that you've got stuff to do, and then not doing it, I think that's the bit that is the crime, I guess. So they do work together, I would say, Nick. Let's make it work together.
Yeah, so how often do you give these words of encouragement to yourself, Julie?
Not often enough.
Right. So, in all the years I've been coaching, I've never met someone that's actually come up to me and said this. James, I really think the reason I failed was because I got too much encouragement. I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone attribute the reason for failure is because they got too much encouragement. So they've never gone together, which then starts to put this whole word of encouragement into this other box of success. How important is encouragement and success? Very important. Starts from yourself. So whatever you just said in them bits of advice to yourself, however you've worded them sentence, start saying it. Start encouraging it. Now, the last bit to wrap up this first bit where we're acknowledging time is, who do you want encouragement from? So yes, you've got the words for yourself. Who else do you want and need encouragement from? So just put a hand up. Just put hands up. Come on. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answers on this. Go on.
Alan.
Alan. And what kind of things would you want Alan to be saying to you? In an ideal world, to encourage you and to get the very best out of you, Laura, what's the best words Alan can say to you? Some of them might be tough words. I don't know. You tell Alan now. Just tell him. In order to get the best out of me, Alan, these are the words that I need. Go for it.
Cat's got my tongue.
All right.
You would go, right. Right. Get on with it. You can do this, Laura. And you're doing a brilliant job. Just focus on the objects in hand.
Yeah. All right, that's what you want to hear from Laura. That's what you want to hear from Alan. Okay. So what else? What has anyone got another example? What they want to hear from Alan? The best forms of encouragement that Alan can give them. Alan's got his hand up.
Well, actually, probably the one that you asked Ali just a few minutes ago. For me, which is, are you working on your biggest priority right now? So when you said acquisitions was your biggest focus, and yet you're only working 5 hours on the week, that as you said it out loud, it's like,
No, that's because I'm patient.
Yeah.
But actually, interesting enough, it's pretty much what I've written. Mine was Alan usually asks for clarity, because the biggest issue isn't a lack of ideas or whatever. It's actually working out how does that help. So mine is clarity, and how does that help us, Ali?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And who else, Ali, do you need some more encouragement for to get the best out of yourself? So not just Alan. Who else do you need it from?
Probably peers, the people who have been in the who are in the same situation. It always helps when people tell you what they've